Yeah, we're back. And we're back. And we're back. And we're back. Welcome, everybody, to Roll
with the Troll.
Hey, check this out. We're going to do something new here today, okay? I've got all these rock and roll stories.
You sure do.
About bands and metal stuff. And I just think it'd be cool if every now and then we did these videos and we'll call them rock and troll stories. So this is number one. If you're watching this way in the future and there are a million of these, this is like our... What, like a mini-series? You want to call it a mini-series?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Niche, troll niche, I don't fucking know.
Troll niche.
Anyway, let me tell you what happened, because you don't know any of these stories at all.
I really probably don't.
All right, let me tell you what happened. So, are you familiar with Howard Stern?
Sure.
Okay, he's a horrible piece of shit now,
Oh.
right? Well, he is.
That's harsh.
Are you kidding? The guy is constantly yelling at people and saying they have to get vaccinated so he can play chess. I mean, the guy's a nut. He's an absolute nut. He has no respect for people's freedoms or anything like that. He, ironically... Back in the day, he was all about freedom.
Yeah.
Now he fucking hates it. He yells at everybody. He believes that we should be jailed if we don't want to go get the jab. But anyway, the point is, he's a bad guy now.
Okay.
All right. But I'm going to tell you about when he wasn't so bad.
Okay.
In 1998. Now, here's what he was up to, okay?
Yeah.
He was playing the Goo Goo Dolls music because they were supposed to come out. You know the Goo Goo Dolls? They do like, at the time, I think Slide was a big hit. Why won't you slide? Remember that one?
Yep.
Because I'll do anything to be complete.
Yeah.
And they had that. And there was that other song, Iris. Iris was like the big, it was like a love ballad. Right? And I don't want the world to see. Wasn't that Iris? You remember?
I don't know titles, to be honest with you, but I think that was probably their biggest one.
Yeah, I could have the title mixed up. But the point is, they were all over the radio at the time until Howard Stern got to them.
What?
Yeah, he's just a terrible person. I'll tell you the whole thing. Okay, here's what happened.
Yeah.
So it was 98. Goo Goo Dolls were supposed to come on. They were scheduled to come on to the show.
Sicily.
Picture.
98.
and Stern kind of meant, he talks about him on his show a little bit, and some of the guys on the show are like, Howard, do you know their music? And Howard's like, no, what's their music? So they played a couple of their songs, and Howard says, you know, these guys sound really gay. And yeah, so that's,
Howard.
I know, right? That wasn't cool, but that's what he was saying. So he's like, this really sounds like effeminate music. And the more and more that he would play their songs, the more the guys from the show at the time, he had like, you know, Jackie the Jokeman, Martling, and all those guys were on, and they were all just bagging on the Goo Goo Dolls, and they're like this is just really effeminate, like soft rock. It's lame. And so Howard kept saying, again, Howard's words, but he kept saying that, you know, this music's gay. So the joke became that when they were going to be on the show, because they were coming in pretty soon after that, supposed to be a week or two later, I think. The joke was that once they got there, Howard wanted all his guys to dress up in sailor suits and thongs and like dance around them while they played their music.
Ew.
Okay, I know. It's again, the guy, he's not a good guy. But so the Goo Goo Dolls got wind of this, right? Like their fans and everyone, I guess, told them that day. They're like, you hear on Stern today what's going on?
Yeah, does Howard think that fans of the Goo Goo Dolls don't listen to his show?
I don't know what who knows? This fucking guy doesn't think at all. But anyway, so the Goo Goo Dolls, of course, they called and they canceled. They, you know, their reps called into the Stern show and go, hey, we're scheduled to come on. We don't want to come on anymore. So instead of just moving on, Howard decides, no, he's gonna abuse them, right? He's gonna bully them really badly. Again, they were a huge band at the time. They were getting tons of radio play.
Yeah.
Well, watch this shit. Howard contacts Clear Channel, who was like, I don't know how it all works in radio, but Clear Channel was the radio group that played all the Howard Stern show. And they also they had lots of rock stations that played Goo Goo Dolls and shit too. So Howard said, listen, he had a lot of pull back then. Howard said, don't play the Goo Goo Dolls. I want them banned. Don't play them on any of your stations at all. None.
Wow.
Well, he had enough pull in 98. He was such a big cash cow that they listened. They said, all right. So instead of playing the Goo Goo Dolls,
holy crap,
what I have to think was just constantly between all their channels, he got them to completely drop Goo Goo Dolls until they would agree to come on the show, until they would actually show up.
Wow.
Talk about being a fucking asshole, right?
Wow.
So Goo Goo Dolls are pissed because 1 minute life's going great. They've got hits. They've got chicks. Everything's wonderful.
And they didn't even do anything to instigate
No,
it.
nothing. Nothing. He picked a fight with them. He started saying, you know, that they were gay. He started making all these jokes about them. So they just say, hey, we're going to just decline. We just don't want to come on the show after all. We don't need you guys wearing thongs and dancing around us. And who the hell wants to see Baba Booey?
What would be the point of that? It's radio.
Well, who knows? Again, it doesn't make any sense. So the Goo Goo Dolls did nothing wrong here, But now all of a sudden they went from being all over the radio to being removed, right? To nothing, all because of Howard, unless they were going to go on a show.
Wow, that's like cancel culture in its early infancy.
That's what Howard used to do a lot, though. That was his move. He did that to a lot of people.
Wow.
To Dee Snider as well at one point. Dee wasn't getting a ton of radio play anyway, I don't think, but that's what he did. So anyway, at least it had a happy ending in the end, no pun intended. But in the end, what ended up happening was Goo Goo Dolls somehow decided that since they weren't getting any radio play now, they had to smooth things over with Howard. So they decided to go ahead and come on the show and just kind of, just let him do his thing. And in the end, it was all kind of fun and games. Goo Goo Dolls didn't really mind when they were there. I think they saw that it wasn't really mean-spirited, that Howard was just... That's what he does. He's a shot guy. He's trying to just, make news and make a story out of it. So in the end, everybody was laughing about it and everything was cool. I think Howard's people did dance around in thongs and shit, if I remember right. And I think there was a sailor suit involved. But in the end, it was like, it wasn't really a put down so much. At this point, it was just kind of one big goof. So I guess in the end, it was okay. But yeah, you never want to forget what a fucking asshole he was and how he used his power. Not to mention just the fact that I think it was shitty, like all jokes aside, to say that their music was gay when, anyway, whatever. There's nothing wrong with their music. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Just be who you are. Seriously. I mean, you just be who you're going to be. And yet Howard, there's a million reasons to make fun of that prick, but anyway, I just think the story's funny either way. And I like that it had a nice ending. Yeah. And then in the end, ultimately, everybody had a good time. They got back on the radio and everything was cool. But at the same time, you kind of can't tell the story without having to remember that it only worked out because Howard got his way and got to bully them into submission, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you guys think. If I'm getting the story a little bit wrong, let me know in the comments. Maybe you got some details that I've forgotten over the years. If you like this little segment, Rock and Troll Stories, we'll do a ton more. I've got a bazillion fucking tales like this to tell. Or if you'd rather we stick to, what do we normally talk about?
Cobra
Cobra Kai we talk about. We've talked about stuff. Star Wars, nerdy shit. If you want, hey, I'm not into nerd shit. Remember that? That was Hawk from Cobra Kai. Let us know, guys, what you think, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Like, subscribe, click bells, and definitely comment. Let us know what you think. We'll see you then.